In today's episode, we're going to be discussing love as your superpower.
Interesting one. And welcome back, everyone, to another episode on Phoenix Awaken podcast. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I wanted to talk about this subject because a couple of days ago, I was on Facebook and Matt Kahn came up with a short reel. And what he said, I found very interesting, and I wanted to discuss it on between us to get more of an understanding because it was just a reel.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds.
Yeah,
something.
pretty much 30 seconds. And how he described it is there are two sorts of energies in this world game, however you want to look at it. One side is negative, one side is loving, heart-centered. And the ones that are loving and heart-centered are very sensitive. And hopefully I get this right. Pretty much how he said it is those that have more conviction in what they're talking about will win, let's say, the energy game. And those that win the energy game pretty much dictate how the energy is going around. And the ones that, I don't want to say lost, but the ones that can't match that conviction start to feel and become that energy. So he was explaining you've got negative being meets heart-centered being. Heart-centered being are very sensitive, very loving, but negative being has more conviction in what they're talking about or what they believe or what they feel or anything along those lines. And the only way the heart-centered being is able to protect themselves is to shut down because they haven't learned how to use love as their power, as their conviction, as their confidence. So he's pretty much saying that there's a lot of people out there in the world that are so confident in negative thinking that those that are confident or those that are positive thinking might not be as confident, and they haven't learned to use love as, I'm going to call it, as their superpower. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to discuss today because I felt like it was really something that I wanted to understand as well.
Let's start with the negative thinking.
Yeah.
It's super easy
Yeah.
to think negatively and to spiral down that pathway of doing that. I feel that we are all really easily programmed with spiraling down with negative thinking. You just watch the news or everything pretty much is negative. And I'll just go back to the movies. The stories are based around the positive and the negative with the characters and the script and how it's all formulated to keep everything exciting. And so on a level, are we addicted to negative thinking and negative feeling because that's what's around us all the time? Because it is harder, and I find this too, to be positive than be negative. It's a lot more easier to go with the flow with being negative, and it doesn't take much to do that.
Because it feels like you're pushing the boulder up the hill.
When you're doing the positive stuff.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have to feel like that.
But it is.
It is, yeah.
It's like you got to train that. That's a good one. The negative muscle is really well trained.
Yeah.
And the positive muscle isn't. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more easier to do the negative thinking, being the negative vibration, than being the positive. So
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it could start with something small. And instead of feeling or having an understanding that, or going the positive route, like going, I'm going to say go up the step, let's say, go up a step. It's so much easier to go down the snake. Let's say it's going down the snake, and then you just keep going down and down and down. Yeah.
So tell me about this superpower.
So for me, I was writing it down what I wanted it, or what it meant for me to focus love as a superpower. And for me, what I wrote down was standing in my truth. Because like I said to you before we discussed it, in a way, I see it as not believing, but knowing with every fiber of your being of either being positive or just knowing your power of love. No matter what comes your way, nothing can knock you down. No matter if someone comes in and says, no, you're doing it wrong, this is wrong, you're wrong, whatever, this isn't, whatever the negative thinking is, you're so strong in what you know as a love frequency that nothing can knock you down. And that could just be as simple as standing your ground or believing in yourself or believing in someone else. So it could, even if it's believing in someone else and they're like, oh, I can't do this, but you can do this. So to me, that's a superpower that no one can actually knock you down.
Okay. So how does one activate this? Is it...
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And maybe that's something that we can discuss. I can only answer that for myself because of all the work that I have done for myself. For everyone else, maybe that's something that we can discuss.
Okay. So what do you feel are some positive steps to activate that love superpower within you? If you're in a sticky situation full of negative shit, how do you outshine that practically?
Well, let's start with what you said. If you're in a sticky situation, practicing love as a superpower would be to actually understand that you're worthy of it. And if you're in a sticky situation, maybe take a back step from that sticky situation. So, for example, you're in a feud or an argument or there's work stuff going on. Take a back step, take yourself out of it. That to me is a very basic way of self-love. Just taking yourself out of the situation and maybe just taking a breather and understanding what is actually going on. Like we've done before, we've taken a step out of something and then realized, wow, this has actually got nothing to do with us. We just got caught up in everything. That is, I'm gonna say a simple step, but it might not actually be a simple step, but it is a step of self-love. Yeah, that's one I've got at the moment.
So what I'm getting shown at the moment is if you were in a place or somewhere where there's a lot of negative stuff, what you could do, people try this at home or try this tip because I'd like to see if it works. Because I can do this stuff with the healing work, which is a different frequency than everyday life. But you could visualize yourself going back into your heart, feeling, if you can, more of that heart vibration, compassion, understanding from the parties involved with the negativity. I'm getting shown, if you're at work or you're at a party or something, there's like this a lot of negative energy around or just really negative stuff. You could visualize, have the intention of going into your heart and expanding that love of vibration frequency around you. Therefore, that could escalate it or it could affect the other people in that space, and you could even make that bigger and bigger and bigger around you. So then everybody's touched by that love, that heart frequency. So that's a practical tip to do with negativity or being around negative people as well. If you can't, move yourself away out of the space. How do you feel about that one? How does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I guess for me with that one, it will take, because sometimes it takes a bit of practice. So if the way you were describing it, I was getting first focus on yourself and then if you can make it bigger, but don't force to make it bigger. It's like naturally try and make it bigger. So then it encapsulates everyone else, or even if it doesn't encapsulate everyone, because sometimes some people may not be able to fill a whole room with positive or loving energy. But like you said, maybe it might just start with the person next to you and then they might be able to change. Kind of like that cartoon. When Bob comes in, he's like glowing and he's glowy energy just shifts everyone out of their miserable energy.
You could also think about the heart and positive thoughts within yourself mentally, like just having loving thoughts or having compassion thoughts, or it's like you could just start in your mind going, it's okay, everyone, you're okay, everything's okay, and just do that mentally. I don't know if you do that out loud, but start doing that internal high frequency thinking within your mental state, and that would help on a level as well.
Yeah.
Because there's just sometimes that you just can't get away from that.
Yeah.
You just can't run for the hills, baby.
Well, I understand that. I do run for the hills.
Yeah.
You know, I admit that. But there are moments where, no, you're right, you cannot run for the hills because you might have to stay where you are to sort things out.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, what does focusing love as your power mean for you?
Being centered. Being strong within self. Because everybody out there understands by now, by listening to us, if you're knowing of self and you got a good understanding of who you are and your flaws and your positives and stuff like that, then it's a lot more easier to be able to change or shift frequencies within the space that you're in. So that's a really good one to start with, knowing who you are, what your flaws are, and all that sort of jazz. If you don't have any understanding of that, even just the intention of, okay, I'm in a really interesting space, I'd like to shift this energy. If I can't move out of that space, shift into activating my heart just by intention.
Yeah.
Just activating it and just starting to see it grow and having the positive internal dialogue playing out. It's like things are better, things are getting better.
Yeah.
Just whatever comes to mind, try to shift it. But you'll find that the negative energies or negative people, negative circumstances can really get you off guard, because a lot of the time it will happen really quickly.
Yeah. And sometimes it might be a similar thing, but it's in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you get caught off guard, it can be super easy to keep in that flow.
Yeah.
And it's then you got to go, oh, hang on a minute, I need to change that. And then sometimes there's a party that doesn't want to change it either, because maybe it's triggering something within you that you're upset about anyway. So it's like you got to try to the best you can transmute that within yourself, be stable, be strong within self, and then still be a positive frequency, or love frequency is what we're talking about now, to be able to shift your space.
Like triggers, for example. It could be something that you heard, like I heard something this morning and I got triggered. So
Yeah.
I had to bring myself back in. And it could be as simple, like you said before, for anyone just being triggered by something that they heard. Mm-hmm. And then they have to work and bring themselves back in and be centered in that, knowing that they're safe and they are loved and that they're strong in themselves.
Just simply sit down and watch TV for an hour and watch the news. There'd be a lot of interesting triggers in there, and a lot of fear porn coming out from the TV screen into your psyche, into your being, triggering you, going, oh, gosh, that's playing out, that's happening. Is it going to happen to me? What's my future? And then you're spiraling down into that. And I want to go back to Esther Hicks, because she talks about having positive words, doing positive affirmation words for like practice for 10 seconds, 30 seconds and a minute and so on. And people struggle with that. But when it comes to negative self-talk, that everybody can do that for an hour.
Yeah, I struggle with negative self-talk unless it's...
If you're with a group and somebody's talking about negativity, you will find that you can choose to step into that conversation of those people, one, to fit in.
Yeah.
Two, because it's amplified you and your concerns. Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
It's really easy, but when somebody's talking about positivity and it's a great day, you'll find that most people go, geez, what drugs is she on?
It's like I'm getting the words misery loves company.
Yeah.
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 So what you're discussing today is transmuting that through the heart.
Yes. And I don't know why, but I really love the words focusing love as power.
Because it is one of the most powerful energies out there.
Yeah. And it's focusing love as your confidence. Like you're confident in it and you have convictions in it. So that whatever you say, it's so strong.
And it strengthens your immune system, strengthens your body, your mind. It strengthens everything about you. And also to have a lot of love around you as well is a protection in itself as well.
It does help, yes.
If you've got a lot of people who really love you and support you, that's a big protection love bubble around you. It's a lot harder for crap to come through.
Yeah.
And try to change your mind, change your thinking, change where you want to go, for example, compared to if you're surrounded by people who are at the same frequency as negativity. I'm just seeing the frequency levels is very, very different, and that's when you're more vulnerable. That's when you're more receptive to even go down further in the spiral of negative thought, thinking, and feeling. And this whole place is based on that. You don't hear very often people saying, "Yeah, I feel fantastic," or "I'm great," or especially without a job. A job is a perfect scenario and archetype for this. Most people want to be doing their own thing or do the beach or have more free time. They don't want to be going to a job that they're choosing just to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So within that frequency, that's a lower frequency as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of perceptions out there which is not as easy to change as what we're discussing here.
Yeah.
But it can be done.
It can be done, but you're right. People are so quick to, I'm going to use the word judge a person who's positive sometimes. Yeah. But I do have one customer. He's a funny guy. He would ask me, how you going? And I'd say, oh, I'm good. He goes, oh, only just good. And it was like, in a split moment, it's like, actually, I'm fantastic. So he kind of reminds me of what, oh, you mean you just good. Aren't you like amazing? So it's like shifts the energy from just being average to be a bit higher.
See, that just triggered me.
Oh.
So if I said, oh yeah, I'm good, thanks. And what do you mean you're just good? That's how I'm feeling at the moment. I don't need to pretend I'm absolutely fantastic, but that's something I don't want to do. So you can understand how that shift can happen.
Yes.
It's like, to me, why are you being a smart ass about this?
But he wasn't being a smart ass about it. He's like, oh, are you just good? And I'm actually, but then because of it's at the end of my day,
yeah,
it's like my energy is starting to go a little bit downhill. But even though my energy is going downhill, I'm actually still really good. I'm just starting to get a bit tired. So he kind of shifts me out of that tiredness, or that kind of shifts me out of that tiredness to go, actually, no, I'm actually really good today. I'm actually a lot better than what I thought I was.
Yeah.
It's just the tiredness has caught up to me.
So isn't it interesting how I got triggered on a different way, different perception? And then you're like, no, for me it was this, but for me it was that.
Yeah. That's actually really interesting.
So see how easily, just through this 30-second conversation, two perceptions can be totally different from each other.
Exactly. I guess that's us. That's humans. We all have different perceptions, and there'll be different things that trigger us and different things that light us up and different things that, bring us down. However, we all got to, as best as we can, focus more on the love within to make these shifts and to bring everyone up with us as well.
As much as you can, but it's not your job or our job or anybody's job to bring people up. The idea is you be the best version of you.
But that's bringing people up anyway.
Yeah, but there's no intention of doing that.
No, I see what you're saying with that. But
because that's a big responsibility that you're putting out there for people to be a certain frequency to bring everybody up. It's like you just need to match that frequency.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I still like supporting everyone to go up.
Yeah. I'm not saying not to support everybody, but your job is not to do that. Your job is to be the best version of you.
Yes, it is to be the best.
And if people come on that ride,
yeah,
because it's free will.
Yeah.
Even though free will is a bit of a dodgy thing. they just automatically start to be that
Yeah.
without you needing to have the intention of bringing everybody up with you.
Yeah. Well, then I get that that's where I got triggered. Maybe that's something that I need to look at within myself. That instead of having to bring people up with me, just allow people to be who they are.
And if they feel lifted and inspired within your vibration, within who you are on that given moment, then that's awesome. Because if you keep on, and I could change my mind in another 30 seconds, but in this moment, it's like you're going to start carrying the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, yes, I understand that, but that's not exactly what I meant.
No, but somebody else might take this and run with this.
Okay, so for everyone, people that are out there, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, but as you can see what I'm doing, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yes, I do understand.
Because it's really important that we do that.
Yeah.
Because then people get a complete, more of a all-rounded discussion.
Yeah.
Because this what we do isn't just about, well, could I say, all rainbows and all, do you know what I mean? Got to keep it as grounded as possible as well.
Yeah.
By sharing the light frequency and the higher frequencies and understanding personal development work and all that sort of stuff. But we also need to bring it really back down to earth as well. So anybody listening to this, doesn't matter who they are, can get a concept where they will understand it and be able to perceptualize it in a way that suits them. That's my rant.
Nice work, baby.
Because we understand, because we're not perfect by any means, and we're working through and battling stuff like there's no tomorrow, and it does take work to what you're talking about today. It does take work to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it's easy, but I wanted to talk about it mainly because I wanted to understand it as a power for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully by me understanding it as a power for me, other people might also understand it as a power for them.
And it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking away from that. It is a complete power. It's just how it's building that power muscle. I'm just getting shown when you're a Superman and you're learning to fly for the first whatever time frame. Superman's probably a bad way of, because he just instantly flew, didn't he?
No, but no.
Was there any training for Superman?
No. You got Smallville, the show Smallville. I think he had to learn how to fly in Smallville.
Okay, so let's say that. Making that very complicated. You've got to learn to, I guess, practice being positive and being in that vibration.
You do realise that this room is very charged right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Well, compared to other times that we've done podcasts, I have never felt it this charged.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That'll be after my healing, do you think?
Possibly. I'm not entirely too sure.
Or you feel that there's a tug of war going on with what we're discussing at the moment?
I think that's probably more. There's a tug of war going on with what's being discussed, because for some reason I felt like this was going to be a really big topic to talk about. And for some odd reason, well, it is a big topic because we're talking about love as a power source here. I'm going to use the word power source. And the room feels very charged right now. Very, very charged. I don't know if it's just because you and me of what we're discussing, or if it's you and me and everyone else in here.
Because everybody would have their own perceptions about this.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah. And that is absolutely fine. I'm not here to change anyone's perception. I'm just here because I feel like this is going to be a really great topic to discuss.
It's been interesting so far. What do you think, everyone?
I just had to bring that up. Like, the room felt very charged in here.
Okay, so what else would you like to discuss with this?
Well, let's go back to the practicality of how a person either can use or become or feel or have, or let's focus love as a power, the practicality of it. For me, the practicality can be self-love. You know, having boundaries, standing your ground.
Looking after yourself.
But also if I'm getting, like, if there's a discussion, not be so forceful to stop. As in, like, if, say, for example, there's a bit of a heated discussion going on. Maybe listen to the person instead of always feeling defensive about what the discussion or the topic is being said. Yeah, something along those lines. Like have boundaries, set boundaries, but maybe also listen because there might be something in it for that person to hear as well. But like, yeah, also self-love, going for a bath if you need to, just to unwind. Like things like maybe practical steps of how people can focus love as a power.
Okay, let's use another example. I'm getting shown some really interesting stuff. Peak hour traffic. You're running late to work.
Oh, yeah.
You're in that, like, if I don't get there, I'm going to get in really bad trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm getting angry and shit. And there's an accident over there. And there's some idiot in front of me playing on his phone. Just missed the lights. Time's ticking even more. So how do you then... How do you do that?
Well, I guess the first step is to breathe, because if you're stuck in traffic, let's say you're on the highway, freeway, whatever, it's gridlock. And you know it's gridlock. And worrying and stressing about it is not going to fix anything. You flying to work is probably the only thing that's going to fix everything, but you can't fly. The best way to go about it is to just take a moment, breathe. If you can, call in to work because everyone's got mobiles these days, and just say, hey, I'm stuck in traffic. And I feel that sometimes when people feel like they're going to get into trouble, I feel like it's the expectation of the company to be there on time. When things happen and sometimes you can't get to places on time, you can't get to work on time. The best way to love yourself or use love as a superpower is to breathe, take a step back, focus on what is actually going on, call into work and say, hey, I'm running late. This is what's happened. And then at least everyone knows what's going on.
And then what you do is...
You go to Macca's and...
No. No, not at all. Well, you can, but you're in peak hour traffic, so...
Well, once you get out of peak hour traffic.
You put on Phoenix Awaken podcast.
Oh, yeah, you could put on... Yeah, absolutely.
You put on your favourite podcast show in your car, and that would be...
Phoenix Awaken podcast.
And just chill in the moment. And you may find, because you're going to be working in a higher frequency, even doing a bit of giggling at us, that's going to lift the vibration. And perhaps because that's going to shift your reality within your car, around your car, things might start shifting around you.
And things might move. Yeah.
I like that practical tip. That's good.
Yeah. Any practical tips that you can think of?
I like the one you said, if you can step away from it, then do that. I've done that.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I can't, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
At this job I'm in, they play some really crap music. I can't run away from that. So I just sort of just have to deal with that.
I have one. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. I'm remembering 3 years ago with the best example is the things that happened here on this planet with certain medical conditions and things along those lines. And the best way I can describe my own use of love as my own power and as conviction in what I believed is my truth is based around certain medical conditions. And the visitors that we received that told us to stand our ground.
Yeah, to be in your truth.
To be in
do
your
what's
truth.
right for you.
Exactly. So for me, that is another practical tip, to be in your truth as best as you can without forcing it down someone's throat.
Yeah, because that's not your job to do that.
No. All you can do is just be in your truth, state your truth, and then just leave it as that.
Yeah, that's the bigger scenarios that play out.
But that could even be like a disagreement in a family, workplace, friends. It's like, well, this is my truth. This is how I feel. This is what I think. And if people don't agree, then they don't have to agree. But don't shovel it down someone else's throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to look at this other elephant in the room as well. People do have attachments to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Energies do come in to set people off to play out a certain thing. And it's usually that person might become very angry, maybe even enraged. And that person's being set up or amplified to do that, to cause a scenario to play out and to really bring the frequency or that of that space down big time. So that stuff does play out. People do get streamed as well.
Yeah.
Most people are not conscious of that happening, but it does happen. So if you're in a group of people, and next thing you know, one of the people in the group goes off tap, or something happens, or he says something to trigger something off, that can also be something outside
Yeah.
trying to disrupt the positive energy flow of that group as well.
Yeah.
So that does play out. I've
Yeah.
witnessed that. We've both witnessed that,
Yeah.
seen that, being in that, and that's not good.
No.
So that's when you have to really be strong within yourself not to get triggered or not to be...
And if you do get triggered, maybe it's like, how quickly can you notice that you've been triggered and get yourself out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can leave the space, leave the space. If not, you just got to stand in your solid energy.
Yeah.
If they attack you, then I'd just put up a bloody mirror.
Yeah.
Just like mirror up, reflecting, intention of reflecting that back.
Yeah.
And that will help, but that takes practice as well. It's
Yeah.
like another muscle we need to build. So it's really interesting, this topic, because I'm just feeling that there's energy in here which has very different perceptions of what we're discussing.
Okay.
And I'm just getting what we're discussing is bubby stuff.
But it's stuff that we understand.
And this stuff that we're discussing, from our perception, is important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the innocence of that is more pure and can lift a frequency, a lower frequency to a higher frequency, even more so.
I'm getting a trickle of water or a breeze. Sometimes a trickle of water can seep through a door more than a force. I mean, this is a silly thing, but like more than forceful water, like a tidal wave. But even though it can blast through a door, but even a trickle can get through a door. And sometimes that's the best way to go about it. It's just like a gentle breeze, because then people can understand it on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if it is bubby stuff compared to other beings or other energies that are in this room, sometimes the bubby stuff is easier to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You want me to say we can bring some information through?
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea what's going to be said or...
Well, it's about the power of the heart, really, about the power of love, and about the power of self-love, self-care, self-compassion, but also the power of love of others, compassion for others. And like you said, love is a protection as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both have experienced that.
Yeah.
And the opposite as well.
Yeah.
So that's an important one.
And to stand your ground and to be in your truth, and yeah.
So the topic is power of love.
No, the topic is learning to focus love as your power, conviction, and confidence.
Okay, did we get all that? Yes, this is a very fascinating conversation, and thank you for having us back today. Very interesting indeed, Alison. You have been inspired to talk about this because at this stage, at this time, the planet, your arena, life is needing this discussion to happen, even though that many people will not understand what has been discussed today. But the power of the love vibration, the power of your hearts, is a superpower more than you all understand. It is, though, needing time and patience, and as Jason said, building that muscle within you to expand and be strong within that love vibration, to shine that out to the world, shine that out around you, to shift realities at any given moment in a positive time frame, a positive vibrational frequency. And to have that love vibration, your heart, your soul, your essence, all that you are, emanate that around you, can shift mountains, can shift, as we said a moment ago, as you understand, we are quite passionate about this subject because it is true, and it can be done very easily with intention and practice. Anything can be shifted with that higher vibration of the heart. It is a very, very high vibrational frequency, everyone. And if all of you tapped into that, you could change, as we've said on many occasions before, change your reality, change your realities instantly. It's just knowing how to do this. And it is as not hard as what you think. And all these lower frequency energies that is around can be shifted and transmuted in moments. How do you feel about what's been said today, Alison?
Oh, very supercharged right now, like as in positive charge.
As Jason and you have discussed moments ago, it is very hard to step into a higher love frequency if you are always surrounded by a lower negative frequency, and to step yourself out of that lower frequency sometimes cannot be done. So it does take practice. It does take time to build yourself up to be in that positive flow, to be, as you would say, Alison, that positive, clean, cleansing water flowing everywhere. Some people, some beings do not wish or desire to be in that vibration, and this is where the conflict can come from, because there's a lot of traumatized people out there who don't even feel worthy of that love vibration. They only feel worthy of the lower vibration of despair and trauma and being victims and operating in that operating system within themselves. It's all they know. So what you are talking about today, for some, this will be a foreign language to them. So yes, positive intentions, putting out there to start to activate or trigger positive heart awakenings to those who listen to this. And to those who are listening and watching this, know that you are powerful heart beings. It's just you are needing to choose to activate that within you to make it your superpower, because the moment you step into that superpower, that's when miracles do happen. Any questions, Alison, today?
I actually have a memory that I want to share. I'm remembering the time when I had that Matrix situation and I was all in my head, and that was all negative thinking. That was all about, I can't even remember what it was about, but I was stewing. If there was a pot there, that I was stirring that pot of yuck and bleh. And I heard a voice say to me, Alison, just be. And for those that are not aware, I actually have a cap that has foil in it because that helps me with my mental clarity. And we've done some research and we've spoken about using foil as a way of protecting thoughts and energies and stuff, like things along those lines. And I had the cap on and I heard the voice, just be. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to listen. I'm going to just shift from my negative thinking and feel what is in my heart and see how, if that's different. And it was, there was no negativity feel. I didn't feel negative. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel anything negative. I actually felt happier. I felt neutral. Nothing to what my head was saying or what was going on or what was really going on within me. And that was the shift that I needed. If you are wondering what shift what was going on, I actually saw my reality pretty much break down on an energetic level. And we have done a podcast episode on about the Matrix, my experience in the Matrix breaking down. But that is a really good example that I got where it was negative thinking and shifting it out into my heart space to have that experience. And I didn't even ask for that experience. It just happened. So going from negative thinking and shifting yourself into heart space does shift your reality.
And for you in that moment, it broke down the illusion of the reality.
Yeah. So I didn't have a question. They asked if I had a question, but that memory came up as an example of the two opposites. I guess I do have a question, because they mentioned on the people that are listening, even though they're listening, it might still be a bit foreign to them what we're discussing, and if they have any steps on just like something small for people to practice on as focusing love as their superpower.
This will be a challenging one for a lot of people who are watching and listening to this. But what you could do is put your hands on your heart and start to tell yourself that you love yourself. Simply using the words, I love myself, I am worthy, I am lovable, I am strong, I am powerful, I'm unconditional love to others and to myself. And just visualize as you are saying that with your hands on your heart, on your chest physically, and visualize pink light just in your mind, very simple, just the color pink that comes to your mind, and just do that for a couple of minutes a day in the morning. This will start you on the pathway of activating and triggering what you are calling today the power of love, the power of the heart.
That's actually really good. I do that.
Jason has used this technique with asthmatics. So with asthmatics in the past, he's done this and it will help immensely. But with the asthmatics, you are breathing in love and breathing out love and visualizing the pink vibration with that. And with this exercise, you can also do the same. Because what you are doing is you are not going outside of yourself, you're activating and opening up your own love. So therefore, it's even more powerful. So if you are doing it really tough, you could say you are down and out. Start by doing that a couple of minutes, if you need to, more than one time a day, and just really feel into that and really share and open up the heart, the magic, the power of your heart, your essence of who you really are, your magnificence, your magic. And place your hands there and just breathe in and out and just feel the love and just giving yourselves very loving, nurturing, powerful, strong words. Your reality will shift faster than you could ever believe or think about.
And building up that muscle will be able to reinforce the love within. So therefore, if someone decides to come along and say, you're not worthy, you've built up that muscle so much to go, actually, no, I am worthy. And because you're so strong in that, no matter what they say is not going to tip you over.
So you just come to an understanding or knowing that when somebody says, mate, you're a piece of shit, you just go, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what your perception is. I know that I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever it is. You won't get. But if you deep down think or feel that you are a piece of shit, then that will like, well, he's just expressing to me what I already feel.
Yeah.
So that will go back to the matrix, reflecting back what you already feel within you.
So then that would be more of a deeper level. So if you do get triggered, then there's still something, there's a part of you that still believes that.
So that's a really interesting technique. I never thought of that before with that. I should use that with clients, actually. That's a really good technique because you have no choice but to center, be in the present moment. You're not past or future, you're present moment, and you're concentrating on just sharing that love vibration with yourself.
Yeah.
Yet people will out there may find it hard at the start because a lot of people I've perceived over the years, and I've had to work through this as well, and I still do on other levels need to work on this, is self-love and being worthy of that.
Yeah.
Being worthy of the love. I've been in relationships when I was younger before you, and people are like, well, I don't deserve you because I'm not at the same love vibration, or I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough of a functional relationship. So then they start sabotaging that. So that might pop up for people in relationships as well. I'm just getting,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, one feels worthy and the other one doesn't.
Mm.
So the topic today is a big topic. And as you said, it is important to discuss because there must be people out there who are really wanting more out of life, wanting more love in their life, wanting more flow, more abundance, more of everything to get out of this sludgy stuff that keeps getting recreated. And if we can all step more into that self-loving of ourselves, and there's no need to go outside of self with angels and guides. There's no need for that, or go and worship Jesus or God. You have all that within you anyway, and you'll find that when you do this for yourself, for you, that things will change and shift, and it's more powerful and faster when you do it this way. I'm getting.
I have a good example, and myself as an example. Sometimes when you feel down and out. I know when I have recently felt a little down and out, and I've been wanting connection, and I'm like, I would love to be able to talk to different beings, and that's just, that's my fantasy kind of thing. But what I really actually was looking for while I was down and out wasn't connecting to other beings. It was actually connecting to myself again. Because on a level, I felt like I lost that connection because I felt down and out.
Yeah.
And then once I got out of that, I realized, no, I'm actually wanting to connect with my own self, my own love, my own knowingness. But it felt like I was trying to go outside of myself for that higher love perception. But it was actually, no, I was looking for the higher love perception within me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are all trained and programmed to go outside of self.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
And we are, I feel, as a species to evolve, we need to do more, to go within more, and to acknowledge that we are everything. We are the Jesuses, the gods, the guides, the angels, whatever you believe in. You're already that. If that's the case, then it's all within. You just need to go within.
Yeah.
And just that simple technique, I believe, I'm even getting shown that can start to heal cells, disease, everything within you. Because we're 70% or more water, and water is programmable, you're sending that love frequency to all the water in your system. This is Dr. Emoto again.
Love him.
Your blood, everything that is liquid, and you're putting that positive love vibration self-talk into you, and by doing the physical actions with your hands as well, you will totally transmute all the negative lower frequency within you and enhance and expand and amplify all the positive within you and change everything within moments.
Exactly. So for everyone that's watching, what I sometimes do is I'll just place my hands on my heart like this, and I will go through my body and say, I love you cells. I love you organs. I love you heart. I love you ribs. I love you bones. I love you muscles. Like I'll go through the whole body as best to my knowledge, and hopefully don't leave any organ out or veins or something along those lines. But that is purely, and sometimes I use this as my barometer as well. You've seen me do it. I would stand there, use myself as my body as a barometer. And instead of talking to my head, I state to myself, only absolute truth, my knowing truth, not what my conscious believes or subconscious believes. And I talk to my heart, and my body will move forward or backwards. And I state not what my conscious or subconscious believes or thinks, purely on my heart. And I talk to my body. If my arm is sore, I might place my hand on my arm and one on my heart, and then ask, what is something going on there? I use that method, and I talk to every part of my body because I want my body to remember that I love it.
Yeah, because it's the tool, the vehicle that we're expressing and experiencing through while we're here.
Yeah. So love is everyone's superpower. We just got to get there.
And I feel that we just have to start small steps.
Yeah. That's why I asked their perception on just like really small step. And that's a really good small step for people just to, hands on the heart. If you feel embarrassed, do it in the toilet, do it in the shower, do it in your bedroom,
The shower's a good one because
Yeah,
that's water as well.
I love doing it in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it in the shower in the morning. If you shower in the morning, do it in the morning in the shower just for a minute or two.
Before work,
Yeah.
your day would shift.
People be like, "What the hell's going on with you? You look fantastic."
Yeah.
And you're like, "I do. I feel fantastic."
I'm getting like reverse aging. You'd start to look younger just by loving yourself more.
Yeah, well, you could start saying that type of thing. I'm feeling youthful, and you could just make up whatever it is that you want to create through doing that and using the heart, the love vibration of that, and appreciation. Yeah, a lot of people who do the manifestation stuff around the world will talk about appreciation as well.
Can I use a really good example from last night?
Mm.
When we were watching TV. I don't know if this is true, but this is what I felt happened. There was not so good energy around our couch.
'Cause we're watching the Barbie movie.
Yeah, we were watching Barbie movie. Very interesting movie. Very interesting movie. But we both picked up on something not right around our couch. And my stomach was a bit turning. Jason was falling asleep, getting a bit tired. And I remembered what Matt Kahn had said about focusing love as your power. And I just stood my ground and pretty much reiterated within me was like, what do I love? What is my power in love? And it's like protection, our safety. This is my space and nothing will interfere on a negative level within my space. And something happened to my heart space. I'm not entirely too sure. I don't know if I expanded it but something happened to my heart space. And then all of a sudden I felt this shift, saw a white speck, and then it was like this yuck energy got ushered out. And I'm not 100% sure if that was all connected, but it's the best way I can describe it of being connected, because it wasn't like instant one after the other. It was like, maybe a couple of minutes or something. But
Yeah,
it was
quite a few minutes.
Yeah. But it just felt like it was all connected just by me going, what is my love? What do I love? What is my version of love? And yeah, that just seemed to happen. It was like something came in, or something, like you said, something might have heard, and it's like, oh, okay, she's standing her ground. This is what she means. Let's move it out.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I find that interesting because when I go through stuff, I like to talk to myself sometimes as a third person. And sometimes I get told, you are strong, you can do this. And it's also like, well, this is my intention. This is what I want to do. And a part of me is like, okay, let's do it. Let's focus. Let's work on that. So again, for me, maybe this is something what someone else needs to hear about as self-love as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that self-love's a big one. I don't feel that many people feel worthy of it, to be honest.
No, and I feel that's probably why a lot of us look for it outside.
Of course.
Because we haven't been, I'm going to say the word trained. We haven't been trained to love ourselves. We have only been trained to receive love from outside of us.
Well, it goes back to inner child again. It goes back to, if you're a good girl, we'll love you.
Yeah.
If you're a bad girl, we're not going to love you.
Yeah. But no offense, I'm going to put it down to some religions as well. No offense to any religions.
Bloody oath. That's craziness.
Yeah. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Oh, I have a lot to say about that. Bloody hell. I tell you, you don't need... Because, jeez. And I get a little bit upset by people talking about their angels and stuff like that.
But they believe in. That's their truth. And because we know it's their truth, remember, we just got to be unconditional and allow them to be in that truth, whether or not, however it is in their life, as long as it doesn't seep into ours and doesn't affect us and we're standing in our truth. Because again, there you go, there's our love, our power. That's our truth. That's their truth.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Get it. I understand it.
But I feel the same. I do
If
get...
they had the power, if they had the self-love and the self-empowerment within them, they wouldn't need to do that. And that's where our next level as a species will eventually move into, to need less of outside and to go, because the world is really forcing us really to go within and be more self-empowered, because if we don't, it will very easily and happily take over and dictate what you should and shouldn't do, which is already playing out.
And I was getting the word self-empowerment as soon as you said it. Yeah.
So the more power we give away to all these authorities, the more they'll run with it,
Yeah.
and the more less empowered we're going to be, because we're so used to giving our power away.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. I've been listening to a few people on YouTube, and they talk about energy as well. And one lady in particular was saying, yeah, awesome that the galactics are out there, whatever they want to do. But this is our journey. And
It's nice to share like we talk to people and have discussion. You learn so much from each other.
Yeah.
Sharing the story with each other.
Yeah.
And experiences to help, support another is fine, but not to a point where
it's
it's
like taking over that person's journey.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, yeah, awesome, have a perception, have advice, just like your soul group. They've got a perception.
Yeah.
They've got advice, but they don't interfere in our journey.
No.
Yeah.
And they're just here solely to give a perception. And
Yeah.
and a perception, if it helps or not, it's just
Yeah.
a perception. We're not going away going, worshipping and down on our knees praying to the soul group, you are gods and you're going to save us. No. Because as soon as we start doing that, we are done.
Mm-hmm. So the moral of the story is, or this episode is, self-empowerment and to focus and learn how to be powerful in love, or have love as your superpower.
And
Yeah.
I'm feeling it goes back down to self-love,
Yeah.
to activate that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just small steps, like they said, hands on heart, and just tell yourself, I love myself. I am safe. I love my body. I love
am
myself. I am loved. I am braver than I believe. I am stronger than I seem. I am smarter than I think. And I am loved more than I know. Okay, I did that without crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to talk fast because I was about to cry.
Let's get a last message in and finish up. You are both right. The first steps is to love yourselves and to feel worthy of loving yourselves in this particular way, putting your hands on your heart and just confirming love and love through you, and you are love, and the isness within you is love. Just simply start with this, and it will help you all immensely. And for those who are not ready for this, just start doing little things that bring you joy, as we talk about nearly every podcast show. To little things that bring you joy. That is another way of sharing love with yourself. Congratulations, Jason Allison, especially Allison, for tackling this topic. It is a big yet beautiful topic to discuss, and we applaud you on this. Thank you for having us, and we'll be back in another show. Love and blessings.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm just kidding. I did that on purpose.
If some of you don't understand, when Jason does a channeling, when he talks, sometimes the flow of the words is really smooth, and then there are moments when they're leaving, they just go goodbye. It's like short, sharp, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why we are needing to laugh and giggle a lot, because it keeps the vibration up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are right. I was actually very, very inspired to talk about this. And I feel like I was nudged a bit as well to talk about this topic.
Yeah, and I love the topic. Love is your superpower.
Yeah. So that is going to be the title. Love is your superpower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it is.
Yeah.
I'm even understanding it more as a superpower through discussion, so it's even helped me.
Wow,
Yeah, just
that's cool.
Yeah, just bring it up through the consciousness because, I know this anyway, but for some reason it's just helped bring it even more to the surface.
Sometimes when you know something, just by discussing it, there's a better understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we're just sharing stories.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Shall we say goodbye?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. You'll see us, you'll hear us in the next one. Love and blessings, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.